I don't even have to tell you guys, you already know that there's been a lot of momentum at town halls when it comes to Medicare for All. Progressives are going to their town halls of their senators, of their representative, and they're asking them to state their position on Medicare for All. Now, we recently learned about the position of a couple of prominent senators, and one of them is Claire McCaskill of Missouri. Now, she was asked if she supports Medicare for All, and spoiler alert, it was a hard no.
Would you support a single-payer plan if it came to a vote? I'm going to disappoint a lot of you. This is kind of how I roll. A lot of you want me to say yes, and I would say if a single payer came up for a vote right now, I would not vote for it. And here's why. We have a huge debt, and we are looking down the barrel of a demographic bubble in Medicare as it is. My generation, there's a bunch of us. I'm 63. I'll be on Medicare in a couple of years. It's already going to be a struggle for our country to keep up with the healthcare costs of the baby boom generation. And so going to a single payer system right now, I don't think is realistic, and I don't think it would be good for our debt. I think there's some steps that we would have to take for that to ever be a possibility. And one is we were going to have to figure out the debt, because with every rise of interest rate points, you have no idea how hard it's going to be for our government to function, for the things that you take for granted to actually come to pass if the interest rates go up 4 or 5 points. Because the interest on the debt will swallow things that you care about very much. So now, having said that, there are some things I would support down that path. For example, if the Republicans, and I won't go into Trump care right now and Obamacare right now, because in every town hall I've gotten a question on it, so I'll wait for that question. But in the single payer space, let's say that there is a county in Missouri that has only one insurance company on the exchange. I want everybody to have a choice that needs to buy insurance someplace, that doesn't get insurance at work and is not on Medicare or VA benefits or Medicaid. And so if somebody doesn't have a choice, I would like to see a plan where they could buy in to either Medicaid or Medicare to provide a choice to them in those counties where there's only one insurance company on the exchange. I think that might be a good idea. But that would require not higher taxes, but that would require premium payments by the individuals who wanted to do that.
So that was an unacceptable answer. Claire McCaskill is seemingly more worried about debt than the healthcare of American citizens. Well, if she actually is worried about debt, then she's denounced Donald Trump's militarism, right? Because when he decided to drop 59 Tomahawk missiles on a Syrian airfield, that cost $500,000 per missile. So she's come out to denounce that unequivocally, right? Well, actually, she released a statement on April 7th saying this: "I'm supportive of these strikes against the source of barbaric chemical weapons attacks on civilians. I just hope it wasn't an impulsive reaction, but rather part of a broader plan and strategy." So, someone who's worried about the debt supports the missile strikes, and also she states that she hopes that it is part of a broader plan and strategy, meaning an extended war. Now, for someone who's worried about the debt, I don't have to tell her that an extended war would cost potentially trillions of dollars. I mean, we put Iraq on a credit card. But she supports these strikes. She supports dropping $500,000 bombs on another country, which is an act that's unconstitutional and illegal. And mind you, this country did not attack us. That's what she's in favor of. And she claims to be worried about the debt. Well, even if it's the case that Claire McCaskill is worried about the debt, in fact, you're prioritizing the debt above the lives of American citizens because people are dying. And that's not acceptable, Claire. So this is what she's saying. If we're killing people, we shouldn't worry about the debt. However, if we are extending healthcare to all citizens so that way they no longer die because they don't have healthcare, then we need to start thinking about the debt. That's what she's saying. This is something that is indistinguishable from Republicans. They talk about, how are we going to pay for healthcare when they drop bombs in the Middle East enthusiastically. That's what Claire McCaskill is saying. She's saying that war is okay, don't think about the debt there, but when it comes to healthcare, you better make sure that you damn well have an action plan as to how you're going to pay for it. And she recently stated that, she's worried that she would be primaried because progressives don't think she's pure enough. Well, Claire, if you honestly are telling me that you think war is more important than providing healthcare to citizens, if you think that the debt doesn't matter, if it comes to the death and destruction of countries in the Middle East, North Africa, you're not just impure. You're a bad person. That's unacceptable. She is everything wrong with the Democratic Party, yet she has the nerve to beg Bernie Sanders supporters to come to her rescue in 2018. And think about how she started to answer that question. She said, I'm going to disappoint a lot of you. This is kind of how I roll. Really? You're supposed to represent them. They elected you to represent them. Their tax dollars pay for your salary. So if you know that you're a disappointment, then what are you doing to change that, Claire? That's unacceptable. Now, she also said that, she's trying to be generous to progressives here. She said she kind of supports moving towards a single-payer system. So what she would do is, in certain regions of the country where citizens only have access to one insurance company, well, she would expand that option so that way they have access to more insurance options. How kind. That does nothing for them. That does nothing for them, Claire. People still won't be able to afford said insurance regardless of how many options you present them with. But I'm going to tell you what this is really about. Claire McCaskill took nearly $818,000 from the health industry. So because she is bankrolled by the industry that wants to keep ripping you off, she's unwilling to support a policy that would literally save lives, while claiming to worry about the debt. But it's not about the debt, is it, Claire? This is about you doing the bidding of your donors. Now, if what she said in that last clip wasn't absurd enough for you, she said, or she implied certainly, that if you have a problem with the way in which Washington is, inextricably linked to multinational corporations and there's so much corruption, and, politicians take money from large multinational corporations and turn around and do their bidding, she said, we'll chip in $5 if you don't want us to be corrupt.
The next time somebody complains to you, if you're a Republican here and they complain to you about, me, then tell them to give $5 to my opponent. If you're a Democrat here, somebody complains to you about the Republicans, say, well, give her $5. If more people give a little, then we won't be so dependent on the big dogs giving a lot. So take the price of an expensive cup of coffee, and no matter who you believe in, Democrat or Republican, put it on somebody you believe in, because that's the best way to clean up money in politics.
If more people give a little, then we won't be so dependent on the big dogs giving a lot. Well, that's not how this works, Claire. If you want us to chip in, one, you actually have to do something for us, and two, you have to stop taking the corporate donations first, because what incentive do we have to spend our hard-earned money on you if you will turn around and do the bidding of people who donate more money to you? So if you were serious about raising money via grassroots exclusively, you would stop taking money from the health industry. You wouldn't have taken that $818,000 from the health industry. Now, if that wasn't enough for you, to show you how Claire McCaskill is the quintessential corporate Democrat, she also recently came out against Bernie Sanders' free college plan, saying, quote, government can't pay for everything. Except for war, though, right, Claire? Because the government, if it comes to providing healthcare to citizens to make sure that they don't die, we can't pay for that. We need to be cognizant of the debt. But if it comes to dropping bombs on Syria, well, then the government can, in fact, pay for that, and you support them paying for that. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to call Claire McCaskill and demand that she either get on board with a Medicare for All system, or we will primary her and vote her out of office. Her number is 202-224-6154.
calling the office of United States Senator Claire McCaskill from the state of Missouri. Our normal office hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have reached this message during those hours, we are unfortunately unable to answer your call due to a high volume of incoming calls. If you are a constituent calling with a comment, your call is important to us. Please leave a message including your 5-digit zip code, or visit us at mccaskill.senate.gov and click the Email Claire button. If you are calling to make a scheduling request, please visit mccaskill.senate.gov and click on the Schedule a Meeting button in order for us to respond to your request in a timely manner. Thank you again for calling the office of United States Senator Claire McCaskill.
Hi, Senator McCaskill. My name is Mike Figueredo, and I recently read a headline in The Hill that states that you recently reached out to Bernie Sanders supporters saying, "I need you and I want you," because you want us to help you during your 2018 reelection campaign. Well, let me say this. I recently found out that you came out against a single-payer healthcare system. You spoke out vocally against the Medicare for All type system that Bernie Sanders wants. And we will not be coming to your rescue unless you change your position and agree to support a Medicare for All system. And she states that she's not in favor of this because of the debt. However, we know that Claire McCaskill took nearly $818,000 from the health industry, and that influenced her decision. Now, she also came out in favor of Trump's strikes in Syria, which cost $500,000 per missile. So what I'm gathering here is that Claire McCaskill supports dropping bombs on the Middle East, but when it comes to saving the lives of American citizens and creating a Medicare for All system, then we have to think about the debt. So after hearing that and listening to her call, we will not be supporting her. Progressives will, in fact, be doing everything we can to primary and defeat Claire McCaskill. However, you can change this. You can come out in support of a Medicare for All system, and you will gain an ally in us. But if you're not going to represent us, if you're going to continue to represent your donors in the health insurance industry, we will not be supporting you. You will be defeated and lose your job. Again, you will lose your job if you do not represent the people of the United States of America. So get on board. Get on board or we vote you out. I think I used that 10 seconds pretty wisely. So, yeah, call, be polite. Just let her know that she will lose her job if she does not get on board with Medicare for All. It's that simple.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.